The blue light faded, and the starfire reappeared in open space. The stars looked different. A large planet with glowing rings slowly turned in the distance. They had made it. Kor spoke calmly. Jump complete. Arrival confirmed. Nova Reach is within range. Tom stood up slowly. Did we take damage? Minor damage to outer hull. Shields held. No crew injuries, Kor answered. Mila let out a long breath. That was close. Rex leaned back in his seat. Too close. I thought we were gone for sure. Tom smiled. But we're not. We made it. They looked at the screen. Ahead of them, a space station floated in orbit around a smaller moon. It had blinking lights, cargo docks, and defense towers. Ships flew in and out. The name on the station's side read Nova Reach Command. Kor continued. Sending signal request. To Nova Reach, awaiting reply. Tom crossed his arms. Let's hope they remember who we are. A few moments later, the screen lit up. A woman in a navy blue uniform appeared. She had sharp eyes and short black hair. Behind her, people worked at control panels. This is Commander Lin of Nova Reach. Identify your vessel. Tom stepped forward. This is the Starfire, flagship of Admiral Lewis. Lin looked shocked. That ship was lost 300 years ago. Tom nodded. It was buried. I found it. I'm not Admiral Lewis, but I carry his code, his DNA. The ship accepted me as commander. Commander Lin paused. Then she said, wait for docking instructions. The screen went dark. Mila looked at Tom. You think she believes you? Tom replied, she wants to, but she needs proof. A minute later, Kor spoke. Docking path received. Heading locked. Auto navigation ready. Rex said, all right, let's land this bird. The Starfire slowly moved toward the space station. As it got closer, people inside Nova Reach stared at the large ship. Some took pictures. Some saluted. Some simply watched with wide eyes. When the ship landed, the docking bridge connected with a loud click. Tom stood at the exit wearing a simple dark jacket. Mila and Rex stood beside him. The doors opened slowly. A group of soldiers waited outside. In front of them was Commander Lin. She stepped forward. I need to see the Admiral's seal. Tom handed her a small metal disc. It had a glowing star and a set of old Earth numbers. Lin scanned it. The scanner beeped. Confirmed, she said quietly. This is real? Tom nodded. We're not here to take over. We're here to help. Lin looked at him. We've been fighting to survive. Resources are low. Colonies nearby have fallen. We thought Earth was lost forever. Tom replied. The Starfire carries a seed vault. It has everything. Technology, medicine, DNA records, farming plans. The Admiral saved it all. Commander Lin looked surprised. Then you carry the future. Tom didn't speak for a moment. Then he said, we need to share it, protect it, and rebuild. But enemies are coming. We need your help. Lin turned to her officers. Take them to Command Hall. They are guests. The crew was guided through bright halls into a large meeting room. A round table sat in the center. Screens on the wall showed star maps, colony statuses, and defense reports. Lin sat across from them. Tell me everything, Tom told her about finding the ship in the desert, about Kor, about the attack by Karen, about the jump, and about the mission Admiral Lewis had started. When he finished, Lin sat quietly. You've done well, she said. You brought back more than a ship. You brought back hope. Mila smiled. We did it together, Rex added, and barely stayed alive. Lin stood. We want to help. We have engineers, scientists, and pilots. If we connect with Starfire, we can start rebuilding what was lost. Tom nodded. That's what the Admiral would have wanted. Just then, Kor's voice came through a wall speaker. Alert! Long-range scan has detected incoming ship. Shape matches Karen's vessel. Estimated time to arrival, 12 hours. Everyone stood up. He followed us, Rex said. Mila looked at Lynn. Can your station defend itself? Lynn replied, We have weapons, but not enough to fight him alone. Tom looked at her firmly. Then we fight together. They spent the next hours preparing. Nova Reach engineers came aboard the Starfire. They repaired the hull and helped finish the shield system. Mila worked with their tech team to install new scanners. Rex trained pilots on the ship's controls. Tom met with defense leaders, sharing Corps' files and plans. Commander Lynn gave orders for every fighter ship to be ready. By the time the sun rose on Nova Reach's moon, they were ready. Corps spoke again. Enemy vessel entering local space. On the screen, Karen's black ship appeared. It hovered, in the distance, just outside the weapon range. Tom stood at the command table. Open channel. The screen blinked, and Karen appeared. His mask covered most of his face, but his cold eyes were clear. You ran, Karen said. I survived, Tom answered. Karen looked around. You brought back help, but it won't save you, Tom replied. This ship was never yours. You can't have it. Karen's voice lowered. You carry the past, but I am the future. Tom stared at him. No, the future is everyone, not just the ones who take, but those who protect. The screen went dark. Commander Lynn turned to Tom. What now? Tom gave a calm nod. Now we show him what the Starfire can do. The sky above Nova Reach was quiet again, but the people were not. Inside the command station, officers ran from one screen to another, preparing for the final moment. Outside in space, the Starfire and Karen's deadly ship stood face to face. Two giants ready for a last battle. Tom stood in the middle of Starfire's control room. His hands rested on the edge of the command table, his eyes fixed on the screen showing Karen's black ship. Cor's voice echoed across the room. Enemy! Vessel is holding position. No weapons fired in the last 2 minutes. Possible standoff. Rex sat at the pilot's seat. He's waiting. Trying to scare us. He wants us to move first, Mila added. She was standing near the engineering controls, fingers tapping nervously. But we don't have time for games. Tom took a slow breath. He already chased us across the stars. He followed us through the desert, into space, and even through the jump. He won't stop unless we stop him. Commander Lynn's voice came through the comms from the Nova Reach station. Captain Tom, our ships are ready, but if this battle goes badly, we could lose hundreds. Tom nodded. We understand. That's why we're going to end it quickly. Cor spoke again. Nova cannon is fully charged. Target locked. However, firing will cause a 20-second system shutdown. Which means no shields, no weapons, no engines, Rex said. It's like holding your breath underwater and hoping no one hits you. Tom looked at the others. But if we wait too long, Karen will fire first. And this ship might not survive that. Mila turned toward him. Then we make a move he doesn't expect. Tom tilted his head. What do you mean? She pointed to the screen. Let's fake a shutdown. Turn off lights. Make the engines flicker. Drop power levels just enough to fool him. If he thinks we're weak, he'll move in closer. Rex grinned. Then we surprise him with the cannon. Tom nodded slowly. Cor, can you do that? Yes, the AI replied. Beginning false shutdown, charging Nova cannon in the background. The lights inside the Starfire dimmed. Engines slowed. On the outside, it looked like the ship was damaged and falling apart. Karen noticed the change. Inside, his dark ship, he stood at the front window, watching silently. They are weak, he whispered. Now, they fall. Karen's ship moved forward, slow and confident, like a predator approaching a wounded animal, his weapons charged, his systems locked onto the center of Starfire. Tom stood still, waiting. The seconds felt like hours. Cor counted quietly. Target entering strike range in 5, 4, 3. Tom raised his hand. Now! firing Nova cannon. From the front of the Starfire, a glowing blue light burst forward. It was bright like a sun, quiet but full of power. It hit Karen's ship directly. For a moment, everything went still. Then the enemy ship cracked in the center, metal bent and tore. Lights exploded. Karen's ship began to spin, hit by its own broken parts. Inside Nova Reach, people watched in silence. Then the station shook from the shockwave, but no damage followed. Commander Lynn stood up from her chair. "They did it," she said. Inside Starfire, the systems went dark for 20 seconds. No one moved. The ship floated like a rock in space. Then slowly lights returned. Power flowed again. Screens blinked back to life. Rex cheered. "That's what I call a perfect shot." Mila smiled, tired but proud. "And we're still flying." Kor spoke calmly. "Enemy ship is destroyed. No further threats detected. Nova cannon cooling down." Tom leaned back. He closed his eyes for a moment, then opened them with a quiet smile. "It's over." Commander Lynn contacted them. "Tom, Rex, Mila, your names will be remembered today. You didn't just win a battle. You saved Nova Reach. You reminded everyone what humans are capable of." Tom replied humbly. "We had a good ship, a good crew, and a reason to fight." Hours later, Starfire was docked beside Nova Reach. Workers moved in and out, repairing panels, checking engines, and studying the ship's powerful systems. People from the station walked through the halls, many seeing the inside of a legendary ship for the first time. Tom stood on a raised platform inside the main hall of Nova Reach. A large group had gathered, officers, workers, and even families. Mila and Rex stood beside him. Commander Lynn introduced Tom to the crowd. "This is Tom," she said. "He brought the Starfire back to us. He carried the past into our future." People clapped. Some cheered. Tom stepped forward. He looked nervous, but strong. "I never thought I would be here," he began. "I was just a scavenger, a boy in the desert, looking for old parts. But I found something more. I found a ship that remembered who we were. I found people who believed in rebuilding, and I found courage inside myself." He paused, then continued. "Starfire is not just a ship, it is a promise that no matter how far we fall, we can rise again, together." Everyone clapped louder this time. Rex leaned toward Mila and whispered, "He's getting better at speeches." Mila smiled. "He's becoming who he was meant to be." Later that night, Tom stood on the observation deck. The stars above Nova Reach sparkled. The damaged parts of Karen's ship floated far in the distance, slowly drifting into space. Mila walked over and stood beside him. "What now?" Tom replied softly. "We rebuild. We travel to the other lost colonies, share the seed vault, help them rise too." Rex joined them. "And maybe we take a break after that. I'm getting too old for space fights." Tom laughed. "You'll be fine." Kor's voice came through the small speaker near the window. "Starfire is ready whenever you are, Captain." Tom nodded. "Thank you, Kor." He looked at Mila and Rex, then back at the stars. "We have a galaxy to rebuild. Let's get to work." The forest was quiet that morning, with only the soft sounds of birds and leaves moving in the gentle wind. Arun walked carefully between the tall trees. He had come here to find some rare plants for his research. The trees were taller than any he had ever seen before, and the air smelled fresh and a little strange. Aaron had always loved exploring new places, but this forest was different. It was deep, dark, and full of unknown paths. As he moved deeper, he noticed the sunlight became weaker, and the sounds of the forest grew softer. Suddenly, the ground beneath him gave way. He fell down a hidden hole and landed softly on moss. Aaron looked around. He was in a large cave, with glowing plants hanging from the walls. The light was soft and blue, making everything look magical. But he was not alone. Around him stood a group of women, all tall and graceful. Their skin shone slightly like the glowing plants. They wore simple clothes made from leaves and vines. Their eyes were wide and curious as they watched Aaron. Aaron felt his heart beat fast. He had never seen anything like them before. The women spoke quietly among themselves, then one of them stepped forward. She smiled gently and spoke in a soft voice. Aaron did not understand the words, but her tone felt calm and kind. He tried to speak. "Hello, I am Aaron. I come from Earth. I did not mean to fall here." The woman repeated some words, then reached out her hand. Aaron took it carefully. He felt no fear from her, only a strange sense of peace. The women guided Aaron through the cave, showing him places he could not have imagined. There were pools of clear water that glowed with light, and walls covered with strange symbols. Aaron tried to remember everything. He was amazed by how different this place was from Earth. Outside the cave, the sun was low in the sky. Aaron looked around and saw the forest was full of life he had never seen. Birds with bright feathers flew above, and flowers that shone in the dark grew everywhere. The leader of the group, who had introduced herself as Lyra through signs and gestures, showed Aaron a small device. It looked like a crystal that pulsed with energy. Aaron understood this was important to them. As they sat near a fire, Aaron tried to explain where he was from. He used drawings on the ground to show Earth, the sky, and the sun. The women watched, carefully, their faces full of wonder. Lyra pointed to Aaron and then to the stars above. She made a circle with her hands and pointed at the crystal device. Aaron understood they wanted to learn about his world and maybe share something from theirs. That night, Aaron felt both afraid and excited. He knew his life had changed forever. These women were not just strange creatures. They were intelligent, kind, and curious. They had found him in the forest. But now, it seemed, they wanted something more. Aaron looked at the stars through the leaves and wondered what would happen next. Would he be able to help them? Could they help him return home? He did not know the answers yet, but one thing was clear. This meeting was just the beginning of a journey that would change both their worlds forever.
The next morning, Aaron woke up with the soft light of dawn filtering through the trees. The alien tribe's camp was quiet but alive with movement. The women moved with calm purpose, tending to plants, cleaning the small fire, and gathering food. Aaron felt like a visitor in a world very different from his own. Lyra, the leader, approached him with a gentle smile. She spoke softly, and this time Aaron could understand some of her words. It was as if their minds were connecting through feelings. Rather than language, she pointed again to the glowing crystal device. Then, she made a gesture like a circle with her hands and moved them apart slowly. Aaron guessed they wanted to show him something important. Lyra and the others led Aaron deeper into the forest. The trees here were even taller, and strange flowers hung from the branches like lanterns. They reached a clearing with a large stone structure covered in symbols. Lyra touched the stones carefully, then looked at Aaron. She used signs and pictures to explain that the crystals they had were losing their power. These crystals were the source of light and energy for the tribe's home. Without them, the forest would become dark and cold. Aaron felt a knot in his stomach. He knew how important energy was on Earth. Without power, cities stopped working, and people struggled. He wondered how he could help these women, whose world was so strange, but real. Lyra showed him a symbol that looked like a star. Then, she pointed at the sky and made a sweeping motion. Aaron realized she was talking about something far away, maybe from the stars or even Earth. Suddenly, Aaron had an idea. He remembered the small communication device in his pocket. It was weak, but maybe he could use it to send a message to Earth. If he could call for help, maybe the humans could bring something to save this tribe's crystals. Lyra watched him carefully as he took out the device. Aaron tried to make it work, but the signal was too weak inside the thick forest. He would need to go to a higher place, a hill or mountain, to get a better signal. The tribe agreed. Lyra and a few others decided to accompany him. They climbed a steep path, moving with surprising speed and grace despite the rough terrain. Aaron admired their strength and determination. At the top of the hill, Aaron found a clear view of the sky. He turned on his device and sent a simple message: help needed, alien tribe's energy source failing, location coordinates attached. As the device sent the signal, Aaron felt hope rising inside him. Maybe Earth would answer. While waiting for a reply, the tribe shared their story. Lyra explained through drawings and gestures that their ancestors came from a far star system. They had lived peacefully in the forest for many generations, protecting the crystals that kept their home alive. But now, the crystals were dying. The tribe did not know why. They had never faced such a problem before. Aaron thought hard. Could Earth technology help them? Could he learn more about their crystals? He felt the weight of responsibility. He was just one man, far from home, but now he held a key to two worlds. Suddenly, a small light appeared in the sky, a signal from Earth. Aaron's heart leaped. The message was clear. Help was on the way, but it would take time. Lyra smiled brightly, showing her relief and gratitude. The tribe began to prepare. They gathered more crystals and arranged them carefully. That night, around the fire, Aaron and the tribe talked quietly. The stars above seemed closer than ever. Aaron realized that this forest, this tribe, and their future were now connected to his own. He looked at Lyra and the other women, knowing they trusted him. He promised himself he would do everything he could to help them. The journey was only beginning, and the forest was full of secrets yet to be discovered. Aaron spent the night in the tribe's village, a small clearing surrounded by tall trees and glowing plants. The air was cool, filled with the soft hum of insects and the distant call of strange birds. He could still feel the weight of the tribe's trust resting on his shoulders. They had opened their world to him, and now he had promised to help save their home. Early the next morning, the sky was painted with soft colors of dawn. When a distant sound echoed through the forest, Aaron and the tribe stopped their tasks and looked toward the sky. At first, it was a small bright dot, but it grew larger and clearer. A sleek ship, unlike any Aaron had ever seen, descended slowly between the trees. The women of the tribe gathered, their eyes wide with curiosity and hope. Aaron's heart raced. He knew this was the help he had called for. The ship landed softly. On the forest floor, a door opened and two humans stepped out, a man and a woman, both wearing simple uniforms with a small Earth flag on their sleeves. They smiled warmly. Sensing the peaceful nature of the tribe, Aaron stepped forward to greet them. "Thank you for coming," he said. "This tribe's energy crystals are failing. They need our help." The man, named Ravi, nodded. "We received your message. We brought equipment to study the crystals and hopefully find a way to restore their power." The woman, Mira, looked around with interest. "This forest is amazing," she said. "And this tribe, I've never seen anything like them before." Lyra, the tribe's leader, stepped forward. She spoke softly in her language, but Aaron translated the meaning for the new arrivals. The tribe needed to save the crystals before darkness covered their home. The humans and the tribe worked together. Aaron showed Ravi and Mira the places where the crystals were kept. The glowing stones sat in special nests carved into the rocks, but their light was dim and flickering. Ravi used a small device to scan the crystals. "They are losing energy," he explained, "but I don't see any damage or contamination." Mira examined the environment. "The forest looks healthy," she said. "The plants and animals seem fine." Aaron was puzzled. If the crystals were dying without a clear reason, what could be causing it? Lyra showed Aaron and the humans a large cave deeper in the forest. She made signs of warning and pointed to the crystals inside. Aaron, Ravi, and Mira went inside carefully. The cave was cool and dark, but the walls shone with ancient symbols. In the center, there was a large crystal, but it was cracked and its light was nearly gone. Ravi studied it closely. "This crystal might be the main source of energy," he said. "If we can fix it, maybe the others will regain power." "But how?" Mira suggested. We need to find a way to repair the crystal structure, maybe with energy from our technology. We can help it heal. Aaron looked at the cracked crystal and then at Lyra. The tribe depended on this light, and now their future rested in a fragile stone. Back outside, the tribe gathered around the campfire. Aaron shared what Ravi and Mira had discovered. Lyra nodded thoughtfully. We must protect the crystal at all costs, she said. If it fails, the forest will fall into darkness, and so will we. The humans prepared their equipment for a long night of work. Aaron stayed close to Lyra and the other women. He learned more about their culture, how they cared for each other, how the crystals were more than just power, but a symbol of their life and unity. As the sun set, the team worked by the glowing light of small lamps Ravi carefully placed devices around the cracked crystal, sending pulses of energy to it slowly. The crystal began to glow brighter. The light spread through the cave, reflecting on the walls covered with symbols. The tribe watched with hope. Aaron smiled, feeling a deep connection between their worlds. But just as the light reached its peak, the ground trembled slightly. A distant rumble echoed through the forest. Ravi frowned. That was not natural, he said. Something else is happening. Aaron looked at Lyra. She looked calm but serious. We must be ready, she said. The forest is alive. It protects itself. The night was long, full of uncertainty. But one thing was clear. Aaron and the tribe were no longer alone. Together with the humans from Earth, they had a chance to save a world that seemed so far away but was now close to his heart. The morning sun filtered softly through the dense canopy as Aaron woke to an unusual silence. The usual chirping of birds and rustling of leaves was missing. He looked around, feeling a strange unease. The tribe was already awake, their faces serious and alert. Lyra approached him quietly. The forest is restless, she said. Her voice calm but firm. Aaron nodded, sensing the same tension. Ravi and Mira joined them, carrying their equipment. They had spent the night studying the crystal, and the glow was stronger now. But something deeper was changing in the forest. Suddenly, a low rumble echoed through the trees. The ground shook gently, and the glowing plants flickered. The tribe members quickly gathered around Aaron and the humans. Lyra pointed toward the far side of the forest. We must see, she said. Together, they moved cautiously through the thick woods. As they walked, Aaron noticed the plants seemed to move slightly, as if watching them. The air felt charged with energy. They reached a wide clearing where the trees circled around a strange sight. At the center was a large, ancient tree with thick roots twisting like giant snakes. The tree's bark shimmered with a faint blue light, but something was wrong. The tree's glow was fading. Its leaves were losing color, and the air around it felt colder. Lyra touched the tree gently. The forest's heart, she said softly. If it dies, the crystals will fail, and the tribe will lose their home. Ravi examined the tree with his scanner. There is a weak energy pulse here, he said. It's linked to the crystals and the life of the forest. Mira looked closely at the ground near the tree. There are strange marks, she said. Like something moved under the roots recently. Aaron felt a chill. Could there be something beneath the forest causing this trouble? Suddenly, the ground trembled again, stronger this time. The roots of the tree shifted slightly, revealing a dark hole at its base. Lyra stepped back but remained calm. This is not the first time the forest has spoken, she said. Long ago, our ancestors said the forest could protect itself when danger comes. Aaron looked into the hole, feeling a mix of fear and curiosity. He saw a faint blue light deep inside. Ravi prepared a small drone with lights and cameras. I'll send this down to explore, he said. The drone flew slowly into the hole, sending images back to their screens. Deep underground, the walls were covered with glowing crystals, but some were cracked and dark. Then, the drone's light revealed a strange shape. A large creature curled up, its skin shining like the crystals but cracked and damaged. Aaron's breath caught. Is it alive? Mira nodded. It looks like the forest guardian, she said. But it is hurt. Lyra spoke quietly. The guardian protects the crystals and the forest. If it is weak, so is the tribe. Aaron felt the weight of the situation. They were not just fighting to save stones. They were fighting to save a living world connected in ways he could barely understand. The group decided to bring help to the Guardian. They needed to find a way to heal it before the forest grew dark. Back at the village, Aaron and the humans worked with the tribe's healers. They combined earth medicine and the tribe's ancient knowledge, creating a plan to help them. Guardian Baron learned more about the tribe's connection to the forest. The women could sense the forest's feelings. They called it the whisper of life. It was a bond between the tribe and the trees, crystals, and animals. That night, as Aaron sat near the fire, Lyra told him stories of their ancestors who once spoke to the stars and traveled between worlds. They had come to this forest to protect the crystals and live in peace. Now, the tribe faced a new challenge. But Aaron was no longer a stranger. He was part of their story. The next day, the team prepared to return to the Guardian's cave. They carried healing devices and crystals from Earth, hoping their technology could mend the broken Guardian dot as they approached the hole. Aaron felt a deep respect for the living forest and the tribe who cared for it. The future was uncertain, but together, they would fight to save this world. A world where humanity and alien life could unite in hope. The air was cool and damp as Aaron, Lyra, Ravi, and Mira prepared to descend once again into the dark hole beneath the ancient tree. The forest seemed to watch them silently, as if waiting to see what they would do next. Aaron felt a mixture of hope and fear. The fate of this strange world and its people rested on what they could accomplish here. Lyra led the way, moving gracefully down the twisting roots. The light from the crystals in their hands cast gentle shadows on the cave walls. As they reached the lower cavern, the size of the space surprised Aaron. It was much larger than he had imagined. Glowing crystals covered the walls, and the air buzzed with soft energy. In the center lay the guardian, a creature that looked part animal, part crystal. Its skin shimmered with light, but cracks and dull patches showed where it had been hurt. The guardian's eyes opened slowly, and it looked at them with a tired, ancient intelligence. Lyra stepped forward and spoke softly, her words full of respect. Aaron could see the guardian understood her. It made a low sound that echoed through the cave, vibrating like a gentle pulse. Ravi placed his equipment nearby and began analyzing the guardian's condition. Its energy flow is weak and unstable, he said. The cracks are deep. It needs more than just technology. It needs care and time. Mira nodded, holding a small device that emitted healing light. This should help repair the damaged areas, she said. But we must be patient. Aaron watched as Lyra and the other tribe members surrounded the guardian. They placed their hands gently on its body, chanting softly in their language. Aaron felt a warmth spread through the cave, a power older than anything he had seen before. He stepped closer and offered one of the earth crystals. It glowed with steady energy. The guardian's eyes flickered, and the light seemed to respond. Hours passed as the team worked together. Aaron learned to understand the tribe's rituals and ways of healing. The women moved with grace and care, their voices rising and falling like the wind in the trees. Slowly, the guardian's glow returned. The cracks in its skin began to fade, and its breathing grew stronger. It lifted its head and looked at Aaron with what felt like gratitude. The cave seemed brighter now. The crystals on the walls shone with renewed light, and the air was filled with a peaceful hum. Lyra smiled. The guardian heals, the forest heals, she said. But the danger is not gone. Aaron's heart sank. What danger? Lyra's eyes darkened. The forest is a living being. When it is threatened, it can protect itself. But there are forces we do not understand. We must be ready, Ravi and Mira agreed. Their technology had helped, but it was clear that this world was different. It needed more than machines. It needed respect and balance. Back in the village, the tribe celebrated the guardian's healing. Aaron felt honored to be part of this moment. The women danced and sang, their voices lifting into the night dot as the fire crackled. Aaron sat with Lyra. How did you survive so long, alone in this forest? Lyra's eyes reflected the flames. We survived because we listen. We listen to the forest, to each other, and to the stars. Aaron thought about his own world, busy, loud, and often careless, here was a tribe that lived in harmony with nature, connected by something deeper than technology. But there was still a question. In his mind, what had caused the Guardian to weaken in the first place? The next day, Aaron and the team prepared to explore deeper into the forest. They hoped to find answers to the growing mystery. Lyra warned them to be cautious. The forest is full of secrets. Some are beautiful, some are dangerous. Together, they set out, following a path marked by ancient stones and glowing flowers. Aaron felt a strange excitement. This was no longer just an adventure. It was a mission to save a world. A chance to learn from beings who saw the universe in a way he never had. As they moved deeper, the forest grew darker but more alive. Strange sounds echoed around them, the calls of unknown creatures and the rustle of leaves in the wind. Suddenly, Mira stopped. "Look," she whispered. Ahead of them was a strange formation of rocks, shaped like a doorway. It glowed faintly, covered with the same symbols Aaron had seen in the cave. Lyra stepped forward and touched the stones. "This is a gate," she said. "It leads to the heart of the forest." Aaron's heart pounded. They were closer than ever to the truth. But as they prepared to enter, the ground shook again. A low roar echoed through the trees, warning them that the forest's secrets were guarded by forces beyond their understanding. The journey was far from over.